Dr. Roberta Bondar invites you to protect, celebrate, and understand our natural environment at her exhibition here at the Art Gallery of Algoma. So Dr. Bondar, how would you describe your exhibition? What is it entitled and what does that mean to you?
It's a two-artist show. So I'm paired with Carole Sabiston, a textile artist from Victoria, BC, who has always been interested in space debris, and kinds of what's going up in the sky. And so the exhibition is called Dreams and Realities. So it's a combination of both her textile work and my large images. You'll see a similarity in form and texture and in color, actually. The show blends very well. So it's nice to have the two different media, photography and textile.
Were there any locations that are more special to you? Did you have any experiences there while you were photographing?
Every image is unique for sure, and it all has its adventure. For example, the panorama of Prince Edward Island, I was in the mud up to my knees with my tripod trying to get the shot before the tide came in. And there's an aerial shot over Wood Buffalo National Park, which is our biggest national park, size of Switzerland actually, where there's 6 buffalo crossing the water, and it's quite an interesting, more abstract shot. And I think the other ones that are my favorite too, mind you, I love them all, are ones that are now doing on watercolor-based paper, ones of rocks and the Hoodoo Gorge and valleys out in Dinosaur Provincial Park near Calgary, because it allows you to get closer to the texture of the rock.
Was photography something that you were always interested in as a young child growing up, or was it something that you just came about through your adventures as an astronaut?
Actually, a combination of both. When I was growing up, because I always had cameras, throughout my training as a student with my master's and PhD, right through medicine, I was using it to document things. And then when I was training for the space program, I was trained on 13 different camera types. And then I professionally trained out in Santa Barbara, California at the Brooks Institute of Photography. And then I figured I was good enough to go out into the field and do my big work, much like Ansel Adams had done in the 30s and 40s.
How does the play of light and line focus in your photography?
Well, certainly photography itself means writing with light, and light, without the light, we wouldn't have much. But it's being able to see when the light's going to come. It's because every time I click the shutter, it's not because it was an accident. It was because I was waiting for that precise moment when the light was striking the right rock, etc., or the time of day. I do a lot of research in it. So I think the light is very important because it allows us to really be in the frame. It allows sharpness and crispness, as well as developing mood in that particular image.
Now, was your interest in preserving our environment always something that was a part of you, or was it maybe amplified by your being out and seeing the world from above?
For sure, I always had an interest in the environment when I was growing up. I loved biology in school, and my first degree is in agriculture and zoology. But I must say that when I went into space, it was the kind of thing of seeing the planet in its reality of being a planet that kind of said, whoa, it is a planet. And I really need to get down on the surface and photograph it to show people the kinds of things that we have here to try to get people more emotionally connected to the planet.
Now, you're going to have a place in Canadian history forever because of being the first Canadian astronaut in space. How do you want to be remembered?
Well, I'd like to be remembered as a generous, honest, ethical soul. Was able to cross different disciplines. But I think I really want to be remembered as being kind.
Now, crossing different disciplines, some people think that when you go into a career, that's it, that's one thing, and there's nothing else. But you seem to blend the artist and the scientist. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
My personal belief is that science and art are part of a continuum. You have to really be creative to do a lot of science. You have to be able to think, oh gosh, I wonder if I did this with this work, or to be curious about things as an artist. You have to know, could I really represent that with the toolkit that I have, or do I need to use a different medium, or can I have the color differently? So science and art are very intertwined. You have to know a lot about science to be a good artist, and I think for science you really need to understand how to present things to people, and that's part of being creative.
What does the future hold for you artistically? What direction are you going into now?
I continue with my photography at various places. I have a big show coming at First Canadian Place Gallery in April and May of this year on my savanna work. So there'll be animals and birds, kind of unusual display. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm actually writing. I'm writing some fiction work that deals with the environment with birds. So that's been fun. And then I have my foundation, which we're trying to stimulate people to look at the environment differently and reframe their world.
For more information and to view Dr. Roberta Bondar's work, you can visit the Art Gallery of Algoma. For Go Sault Ste. Marie, I'm Anne Gordon-Air.